Hey, good morning. The next couple of days, we're going to be working on linear equation word problems. Now, kids hate word problems for some reason, but they're most important. And so we've already talked about a couple kinds of formulas here. We talked about y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. And a lot of times our equations can be written this way, y equals mx plus b form. And then we can solve them. And the other one that we're going to cover today is called standard forms. Sometimes we have two objects and they'll tell us information about two of them, and then they'll give us something like the total. So standard form is x plus the y's and then equals c, whatever our term is with no variable here. And so we're going to focus on these two guys today, and then tomorrow we'll focus on the third kind, okay? Most of the time we do this y equals mx plus b form on equations, and so it's called slope-intercept form. And so if we can find the rate of change, which rate of change is the same thing as slope, same thing. So in our word problem, we can find the rate of change. We're going to put that where the y is in y equals mx plus b, and then if we have a starting point, that's going to be our b. So again, y equals mx plus b. We're going to put the slope right there. We're going to put the b right there. All right. So now, just like the last time we had word problems about a month ago, we're going to read through this problem, but then we're going to look for these two things, m and b's. So here we go. You and your friend plans to attend a county fair for the weekend. The admission for the fair is $5. So in my head I'm thinking, well, how often do I pay that $5? Admission means you pay $5 to get in. And then you pay 50 cents per ride. And then your parents give you 20 bucks to ride and solve. So now we're supposed to write and solve a linear equation on how many rides I can go on. So here's my three numbers that they've given me. Now this guy is my b, so I like to put the b over here, because I pay that $5 only one time. Okay? And this 50 cents is going to be my m. That's my rate of change. For every ride I go on, I pay 50 cents. So one ride's 50 cents, two rides is $1, and so the 50 cents goes right there for my m. Now, decimals are important now because we're going to be doing some multiplying and dividing. So now I'm going to write my equation. Y equals 0.50x plus $5. Now they said your parents gave you 20 bucks, so the 20 is going to go for the y. So you're going to have to write number one, you're going to have to write tiny today, and then watch how we write our final answer, very important. So the $20 is how much we have total. We have 50 cents per ride, plus the $5 to get in. Now what we're trying to do is get that x by itself. So let's get work on doing that. How do I subtract $5? So now if there is no decimal, it's right there behind it. So it's really $20 take away $5, but I don't even need my calculator for that. I know that's $15. And now equals 50 cents x. Get the x by itself. Now I got $15 divided by 0.5. And I'm getting 30. X equals 30. Now I'm going to put my x over here. I'm just going to flip the whole equation. 15 divided by 50 cents is 30. Now very important. We just can't leave our answer that way because that means nothing. We got to answer the question. It says how many rides can you go on? So you can go on 30 rides. Not only do you have to answer the question, but you have to have units. In this case, rides is my units. Okay? And you have to answer the question with words. Alright, so let's see if we can identify the M and the B in this one. While your family is visiting Deep Creek Lake, you and your mother decide to go boating. The rangers charge $6.50 for every hour, and you have a $25 deposit to rent a canoe. So a lot of times when you rent things, you walk in the door and say, give me a certain amount of money. Well, that's the money right there that I want to give, and I'm not going to give back, no matter how much I rent the canoe. So that's going to be my B. And now they're going to charge me $6.50 every hour, so that's going to be my M. Okay, so now my equation is going to be y equals 6.50x, because there's my M, plus $25. So now let's go see what else they tell us about this. If you want to rent the canoe from 12:30 to 3:30, well, we got to know this is every hour. They've charged me $6.50. So how many hours is it from 12:30 to 3:30? 1, 2, 3. I think it's 3 hours. So let's go write our equation. Y equals 6.50. I'm renting the canoe for 3 hours. And they want to know the total cost. So this is going to be a nice, quick, easy one. Gotta do multiplication and division first. No parentheses, no exponents. That's $19.50. I want to leave that number in my calculator because now I know I want to add $25 to that. And I'm getting $44.50. So, answer the question. Cost to rent a canoe. Cost. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is just not starting to be a good day again. Let's try again. The cost to rent. Now we rented it for what, 3 hours? So let's put that in there. To rent the canoe. For 3 hours is $44.50. You need a dollar sign there. That's my units. Okay. Up here, our units were rides. Here, it's money. Okay. So make sure you put units on every word problem. Answer the question and make sure you put units. All right. You and your parents have decided to buy a Toyota 4Runner for $25,635. According to the dealer, the car will depreciate. Depreciate means it goes down in value. As things get used, they're worth less and less each time, or every year. And then, so they said you're going to depreciate approximately $3,000 a year. So in the first year, I want to go $3,000, and so that car's going to be like worth $22,000. And it's just going to keep going down a certain amount because you're putting miles on it. It's wear and tear, and so it's not going to be as much valued as much as when it was brand new. We want to write and solve a linear equation to find out how many years until the car is worth this much. Okay, so what's going to be my M in that problem? Right, it's going to go down 3,000 per year. So there's my slope right there. Every year it goes down 3,000. So I want to put that there. Now make sure you put commas versus decimals here. Don't get the two confused. Now what's my B going to be? I got two numbers to choose from. Well, what's the number that we're going to start out with? It's going to start out at 25,635. So that's going to be where I start at. Now let's go write our equation. Y equals 3,000 x plus 25,635. Now they want to know when it's worth this 3,135. So that goes right there where total is, or the Y. So now let's go plug these numbers in and solve how many years, because that's what they want to know. How many years? Years is right there for the X. So we got big numbers here. A lot of times in life you buy things that are worth a lot of money. Alright, let's get that. Oops, I forgot my X. Let's get that X by itself. Let's minus this guy. Grab that calculator. Do this work. Oh, make sure you're careful with these numbers here. I like my calculator because it shows the numbers in there. this is a negative number because I got more negatives than positives, so don't forget that. I'm getting 22,500. Hopefully you got that on your calculator. Now let's get rid of that 3,000. I'm getting 7.5. Oh, you know what? Back over here. This is easy. We'll fix this. This is depreciate means it's going down 3,000. So this should have been a minus 3,000 here. I just thought about that depreciation because I was seeing we had a negative number here, which didn't make sense. So we're still okay because this would have been a negative 3,000 right here. So we wanted to add 3,000 to both sides, or divide by a positive 3,000. Sorry. So we're still okay. So now I see what we did. Sorry. I was just looking at that 3,000 over there and saying, wait a minute, we can't have a negative number here. So we're going to divide by a negative 3,000. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So again, I'm going to put my x here because these guys go away. Sorry about that. X equals negative divided by negative is a positive, and it's still going to be 7.5. If it was a negative, that wouldn't make sense, and that's what kind of struck me here. Something's wrong. Okay? So in 7.5 years, here's my unit, years, the car will be worth, and $3,135. Okay, so answer your question very clearly. Sorry about that. I should have known depreciation meant down 3,000. Okay, so now you're going to buy a car wash at the gas station. So you drive up and say, hey, I'm going to get my car washed today. Well, I'm always again looking for something that you're going to do one time. You're going to pay $5 one time. So that's my B. And you're going to buy some gas, and the gas is $3.10 for every gallon. So there's my slope. Okay. So now my equation is going to be y equals $303.10 for every gallon of gas I buy, plus the $5 for my car wash. And they said you have $40. So let's go right. Whoops, I don't want to put a y there. I want to put a 40 there now. So I got $40 equals $3.10 for every gallon of gas plus $5. Let's get the x by itself. You notice that I'm not staying my steps by steps anymore, because you should be able to get this variable by itself now, and that's what all your teachers are going to say, get the variable by itself. Now I'm going to focus here. I want to put my x over here because I want to know what x equals, and I want to put my answer over here after I take $35 divided by 310. And I'm going to round it. Money goes to the hundreds place, so this is pretty important too. My answer says 11.29, and then there's a 03 something something behind it. Well, our money in the United States goes to the hundreds place. So I want to look at the digit next to it, and I want to round it to the hundreds place. Well, there's a 0 next door, so that means the 9 stays the same. So, what did they ask? Find the number of gallons of gas you can afford. You can buy 11.29, here's my units, gallons of gas. Okay? So that's when we can easily put it into the y equals mx plus b form. Sometimes they'll give us two items, and they're two different items. So I want to put two different objects here. And so if they're giving us two different objects, then I'm going to use standard form. to write my word equation. And standard form was when I put one object plus the other object and I have a total. Standard form. So just like we did a month ago, we need to put, instead of x's and y's here, I want to get down to the end and say what my letter is and then use my key over here to figure out what I solve for. So here's Sam ordered 2 tacos and 3 enchiladas at a restaurant. So here's one item. So I'm going to put a cursive T equals tacos. I'm going to put E for a capital E for enchiladas. Okay, so now I'm buying tacos and enchiladas. So his bill came to this. If enchiladas were $2 each, so now I want to start putting some numbers here so I can put it in standard form. So enchiladas were $2 each. So I don't know how many enchiladas I bought, but if I bought one, it's going to be $2. 2, I bought $4. 3, $6. So the $2 goes with the enchiladas plus. We don't know the cost of a taco. So I'm going to put T here. Oh yeah, he bought 2 tacos. Wait. Let's back it up here. Sorry. Back up here, he bought 2 tacos. So we got 2 T's plus, and he bought 3 enchiladas, 3 E's. And that equals the total amount of money I spent, which is $7.80. Okay. I was just looking at that. We're trying to find out how many tacos it costs. So that's why it's good, I guess, to read the question all the way through. It says, write and solve the linear equation the cost of each taco. Alright, so they had to tell us something. They said the enchiladas were $2. So I'm going to put that $2 right there where the E goes. So now let's go right. That's our basic equation. Bought 2 tacos, 3 enchiladas, and his total was $7.80. Now, they told us that the enchiladas were $2 a piece. So I'm going to put 2T because I don't know what a taco costs. Plus, I know he bought 3 enchiladas and they were $2 each. And he spent $7.80 altogether. Alright, so let's do this guy. Take the T by itself. So T equals 90 cents. So this is why it's good to have a key over here. The tacos cost 90 cents each. So you can put 90 cents like this, or you can put 90 with a dollar sign there. It's 0.90 of a dollar, so either one would be an acceptable answer. Okay. I want to read it all the way through this time to make sure we got it all. Tickets at the school play cost $4 in advance or $5 at the door. So I see 2 things that we're measuring here: advance tickets and door tickets. Total ticket sales for the evening production were $440. So there's my total. If no tickets were sold in advance, that's kind of strange. Write and solve a linear equation on how to solve up. So here's my 2, pick out the 2 things. Let's use A for advance door tickets, or advance purchases. And D for door purchases. Costs more for the door, so my cost $4 for advance. So if I bought 1 ticket, $4, 2 is $8, plus $5 for tickets bought at the door, and the total was $440. So now let's go, there's our equation that we want to use to solve this problem. Now they told us there were no tickets for the advance. That means that 0 goes there for the A. So I got $4 times 0 plus $5 for the door ones, and I sold $440 altogether. Well, I know that 0 times $4 is 0, so this is just going to be $5 D's. This is going to be a fast one. And let's get rid of that $5. I'm getting D equals 88. So now D was door tickets. And they were sold. Alright, word problems are tough because there's just so many different ways that we can write them, and we have to figure out which is the best. So again, we're focusing on 2 different ways today. So one's that give you the slope at a starting point. This one gives you 2 different things. So today on your homework, you got to kind of sort out which one we're going to do. Karen's piggy bank has all dimes and quarters. So there's my 2 things. I got dimes and quarters. The total value of the money in her piggy bank is this much in her total. She has 36 quarters. Write and solve a linear equation to find the dimes she has. So the 2 objects that we're measuring are dimes and quarters. So let's use D for dimes, Q for quarters. So earlier this year, some people, when we took the quiz and the test, they didn't do this. And the kids that did do this little key over here did well. Other kids were just kind of like not breaking it down and overwhelmed because it's word problems. We gotta make sure we can do these guys. Now, what's kind of weird is dimes are worth 10 cents. So I'm going to put a 0.10 there. I don't know how many dimes, but I'm talking about the total amount of money she has. So if I know she has 3 dimes, that's going to be 30 cents. So when I go write my standard equation, I want to 0.010 D's, because those are my dimes, plus quarters I know are worth 25 cents. So that's going to be 0.25 Q's. And then I know she spent $11 or has $11.40 in her pocket. Okay, so there's my standard equation. Now, they said she ate 36 quarters already, so that 36 is going to go right there where the quarters is. So, let's go. I want to know how many dimes she has. 36 quarters she said she had. Alright, let's get the D by itself. At this point, I start freezing my screen in the classroom so that kids just aren't copying. So I find that happens a lot of time when kids are at home watching the video, is they just want it to be over with, and sometimes they don't even have the sound on. So I'm going to write this turn sound on. So that you say, what's he talking about? Because you probably weren't listening. But anyhow, they just copy everything down, and then the notes look all good and everything, but then it comes time that they got to do it themselves, and they don't know how to do it. Now, this $9 is really 9.00. So sometimes, sometimes I'll just use 9 point, or just 9. So 1140 take away 9 is going to be the same thing as 1140 times minus 9.00. So you can kind of speed things up on your calculator a little bit. I'm going to put 11.40 just minus 9 without the other 2 decimals. Now I get 2.4, but I know it's money, so that's 2.40. Okay? Because it's money, it goes to the hundreds place. So now I'm going to divide by 0.10. And now I'm going to get my D by itself. My 2.40 is in my calculator already. And I get D equals 24. Karen has 24 dimes. Okay. Alright, the Madison High School Marching Band sold gift wrap to earn money for the band. Solid color gift wrap, so there's one of my words. Solid color gift wrap sells for $4 a roll, and printed, that's my other one, sells for $6 per roll. They want to earn a total of $2,340. Should put a comma there. For the competition. Alright, so let's get our key over here for the two different things. Let's put in our prices. The solid sold for $4, so for every solid gift wrap I have, that's $4. So again, one's $4, two's $8, so that's kind of how I think about this. Plus my printed ones, which sell for $6 for every printed one, and that equals $2,340. That's how much they want to make. Alright, the band sells 340 rolls of printed, so that 340 is going to go right there. So let's write our equation. Printed, they sold 340 of them already, and they want to still make $2,340. Alright, let's get that S by itself. I want to freeze my screen. You should freeze yours too. Do the whole problem, please. Alright, let's see how we did. You did $6 times 340, which would be 2040, I hope. Still have the 4.00S over here. Hopefully you got rid of the 2040. So then you had $4 S equals, give me a second here, minus 2040. I'm getting 300 there. So then hopefully you divide it by $4. Again, the decimal's right there in 300 if you're not sure. And I got S equals 75. So 75 solid rolls. So that's what they need to sell. They need to. These guys' units are rolls of solid wrapping paper. And there you go. Oh no, you know what? Did I do this? Yeah, solid. Right there, solid paper they must sell. Phew, I thought we were looking for printed here. Alright, I think we got it. Okay, I'm going to have to record the whole video just because the last one I messed up on. Alright, so there you go. This is tomorrow's. We're going to solve linear equations by a different way, by point slope form. Okay, so I think your homework's like way down here. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so the first day is using the y equals mx plus b form, and then a couple of them using standard form. I think you have like 8 questions total. Alright, so get those taken care of, okay? Alright, have a good day.